Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
No. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that where I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Become a member today. As little as $3 a month, you get to see behind-the-scenes footage. You get a hoodie or a T-shirt, and you also get a promo code for discounts on clothing as well. But, of course, you got the blog session over there as well. And if you miss any part of the shows whatsoever, we upload the podcast directly to the website directly after this is over. So, Combs, welcome to the show, man. How is your night going?
My night is going good, buddy. You sound a little bit under the weather. And I know we were talking pre-show. You said that's from your kids bring it home from the daycare or whatnot. Are you sure I don't have nothing to do with that dusty old dungeon that you record out of?
No, actually, so I actually keep this pretty darn clean. I sweep the floor every night. I get down there and I mop it. Man,
what's the temperature in there right now?
It's probably 64, 65.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I guess we can blame the kids then.
I built a wall, right? So like I'm boxed off and I got insulation in it, got my space heater going. I mean, it's a perfect situation. So, I mean,
all right.
I'm actually going to really miss it because like when we move into the new house, I'm going to have space to do like activities, and I'm not for sure what to do with my hands like at that point. So, speaking of space and do activities, Wyatt is not on house duty because he has those housemaids over there, or cleaning ladies. I should say. So, Wyatt, how was your day? I mean, obviously you didn't clean house, so mean like your room's nice and clean.
Yes, my room is awesome.
Last time you cleaned your own room, Wyatt?
The last time I cleaned my own room, I mean, I still got to keep up with it and stuff, or mom gets a little upset. So, probably like, I don't know, about a month ago, something like that.
Have you ever dusted anything?
At where I worked at?
Is that what the maids do?
Not at the house. I've never dusted anything, but I've dusted stuff where I worked.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so speaking of where you guys work here, guys, we are doing the loyalty giveaway tonight. Tonight is the last night of the week and the last night to get some big loyalty points. Many people have a long ways to catch up to Tori Anderson, but there's still time to catch up. How do you gain loyalty points? You simply like the YouTube page, you subscribe to it, and you share this share this as many times as you can because you get more points for each time you share it and whatnot. And then obviously commenting and gambling gives you a chance to win more points as like as well as Hoffy comes on and says ready for a fire show. So thank you, Hoffy. I mean, like if you guys have missed Hoffy's section for us, he brings a little bit of baseball lackey knowledge and kind of tickles Combs' pickle a little bit in the end.
I took him to school a little bit last night. I mean, he started talking about the Dodgers being the best pitching rotation out there. He's got a lot to learn, but I'm bringing him up.
Yeah, so speaking of getting a lot to learn, guys, I have been married for almost 4 years now to my wonderful wife, right? We have 2 boys. We have a 3-year-old
call her pre-show.
And a 1-year-old. No, do not get that twisted. Cindy is by far the saint. She puts up with me being out here for 3 hours.
I'm joking, Cindy. That was a straight joke, I promise.
But as a husband and wife, we learn how to play a little games with each other, right, guys? So, like, I'm talking like, who can hold out the longest by not doing the dishes, right? Who can hold out the longest by not taking out the trash? Who can go out the longest by not cleaning out the cat box, right? And, guys, I have say that I'm retiring from that game because, Cindy is undefeated, unfortunately. So, Combs, you have been in my position before. Did you ever play any games like that with your wife? or
Yeah,
girlfriends or
divorced
anything?
now. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
so are you?
you see how well
are
those
you?
games went.
You trying
Are
to
you
say something here, Combs?
I'm trying to say that I mean, there's a reason sometimes why things don't work out, and sometimes games like that are dangerous games to play. My games were more of I'll do what I want, and let's see how mad I can make you.
Sheesh.
But no, she look, you can't play those types of games like let's wait to see who can hold out to do the dishes, or let's see who can wait to hold out to take out the trash, because then she's going to say let's wait to hold out who can last longer without getting anything in the bedroom, and that's when you lose. That's when the guy is done.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Combs.
Don't laugh. Why? Hey, you're gonna learn. I'm telling you. I mean, you're still young. You don't have to play those games yet because you got maids to do all your stuff for you. But once you don't have those maids anymore,
I want to make enough money where I can have maids too. If you want to call them maids, cleaning ladies. That's what I want.
So the reason why I bring that up, like I do know we have some females in our chat, very very active females, that are in there, talking us up and like having a good time. So let me ask you guys this in the comment section: are there particular chores in like a household where like a man is supposed to do it or a female is supposed to do it, or are we kind of past that stage in our world where like people always just like, hey, it is a teamwork, right? So,
yeah, and it's definitely teamwork. I mean, look, marriage is tough work. As Drew points out here, like I said earlier, we don't play those cleaning games. If I don't help, I have the sex life of a monk till Christmas. That's just how it goes. Obviously, I only know two.
So, I mean, just like the reason that I asked that is it is because like sometimes my wife comes at me.
I was like, why did she say she only knows of two? Hoffy, I've only been divorced twice, buddy. Jeez, I'm crow.
Well, hopefully you don't get married again because third time's a charm.
That hooker in Tijuana again. God.
So the reason that I asked that is because like Cindy always comes at me with like, hey, this is your job, right? This is your job. This is your job. I'm like, I thought this was a partnership, honey. And then every time I do that, hell will freeze over, guys. And tell you what, I'm out in the garage for 4 hours instead of 3 hours.
Yikes.
So, why? I know you got a girlfriend on your side. You guys been together for what, 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah, we're three years on Sunday. On Valentine's Day, it'll be 3 years. So.
Oh, that's cute.
On Valentine's Day, huh?
So
that's a smart guy right there, man. You never know you never forget your anniversary.
Exactly. That's part of it. But also the biggest thing, I hate Valentine's Day. I think it's like a corporate holiday just to sell stuff and make people feel lonely, right? So I never liked Valentine's Day. She loves Valentine's Day. So we met in the middle.
Of course she does.
We got together on Valentine's Day. So that way I had something to celebrate on Valentine's Day and it was actually a holiday to me. You see what I mean?
You know what I found out?
I thought that.
So when I was married, I got out of Valentine's Day because my youngest son was actually born on Valentine's Day. So we don't celebrate Valentine's Day because it's his birthday.
Nice.
But what I found out after the divorce and through dating Michelle is that there are actually two Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is for the woman, and there's a holiday called Sweetest Day that is for the guy. And I did not know this. All of a sudden, Michelle comes home. She's got these gifts, and I was like, "What's this for?" She's like, "Sweetest Day." I said, "What the hell is Sweetest Day?" She goes, "Oh, it's Valentine's Day for the guy. This is when the girl gets the guy presents." I was like,
I don't
so
know confused
who
right
you
now.
Are, but this is the first time I've ever heard of this, and I love it. I love the idea. Hey, look, I get a holiday just for you to. All right, cool.
What day is this?
It's called Sweetest Day. I don't know what day it's on. Michelle,
well, you love the holidays so much, you got to know what it is.
It's
my favorite holiday, but I don't know what day it is.
She's the only one that's ever known about it, so I just let her, go with it, and whenever she tells me it is, that's when it is. Like that's how I deal with that one.
That really sounds like you know what that sounds like, Combs? Like this is just between you and me here. So viewers tune out here. This sounds like Michelle is buttering you up for something. Hey, this is Sweetest Day. Oh, by the way, I just bought a refrigerator. Oh, hey, it is.
Louis Vuitton just came out with a really nice new leather purse.
Yeah, I mean, like that is a butter. I mean, and then like.
She could
Apparently
buy
a smart
whatever,
girl.
She could buy whatever she wants to buy. She works her butt off. I let her buy whatever she wants to buy. She doesn't have to ask. That's why she's a keeper. She's lucky number 3. I guess, hey, third time's a charm, right? I mean, you know?
Yeah.
What's that old saying? You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time.
Fool me, can't get fooled again.
Fool me a third time. They're gonna make a Netflix series about us.
So, guys, we do have a pretty packed show tonight. We got some NFL talk. We are also supporting a fundraiser tonight. So Combs, can you go ahead and talk a little bit about that fundraiser before we go to our first break?
Yeah, so the fundraiser is called Angel with an A. It is for Angela Dewey out of Vermont, Randolph, Vermont, to be exact. They are doing a motorcycle ride for her on May 1st. We are going to be promoting that ride, as you can see here. May 1st, 2021, if you're a motorcycle rider, if you want to head up to Randolph, Vermont, it's $25 per rider. Every $25 buys you another car. Top 10 poker hands will win a prize. All proceeds go to scholarship fund in Angela Dewey's memory. And as an added bonus for all of our listeners, every $250 donated by Man Hour listeners, Man Hour will donate an additional $25. So, you know, it's a good cause. It's a great cause. We will talk about this here in just a little while, more in depth. I will give you guys the backstory and let you know everything that is going on. But a great cause. So if anybody is out there and they are able to donate and want to donate to a great cause, you know, we'll give you guys all that information here in a little while.
Yeah, so after the break, guys, we are going to talk some sports here. We have talked a little like enough about the man stuff in the world and, you know, wives and girlfriends and Valentine's Day. Speaking of Valentine's Day, guys, listen up. You do have 3 days still to go shopping. You got Friday, Saturday. You got most of the day on Sunday. So hopefully you guys do get some Valentine's gifts for your other halves.
You guys need to look. Michelle, let us know what day Sweetest Day is on. I can't remember what day it's on. But once you guys learn about this date, you guys got to tell your wives, hey, there's a Valentine's Day for me too. I am not telling her that because for one, that makes me remember another date, and I'm already horrible. Like sometimes I forget my kids' birthdays. To be honest, I was just going to ask you that too. Who's better at remembering anniversaries and birthdays? You or your girl?
Moms are always better at remembers birthdays.
Yeah, for me and Michelle, it's me. Like I remember our anniversaries. She never gets it right. She always doubts me and has to look it up on Facebook to remember what our anniversary is. Like I am the one with the dates, and I'm the one that does not forget that stuff.
So we actually have a calendar, like an actual calendar, like on the wall, and there are dates that have like hearts on them, and I'm like, shit, I have to remember what this day was. Like she has the day we met, like our just like the day I proposed to her.
I know it's in November sometime. I do know that it's in November sometime, or maybe October. One of those 2 months.
What, the day that you started dating?
No, the Sweetest Day. Our anniversary is October 21st. Michelle's going to go
I'm
look
looking
that up
this
right
up
now just to make sure I'm saying it.
Jokes on Combs, is actually his birthday when Sweetest Day is. But guys, head over to manhourradio.com and check out the new merchandise section and the blog section as well. If you have not become a members only over there, we are doing the after show. We're doing a preview tonight, but it does start Monday. So those of you that have signed up for the gold membership or silver membership even, you guys will get access to the after show starting Monday. All that much more coming up here on the Man Hour, guys. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Bakaj along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams themselves, guys. Head over to manhourradio.com. Become a member over there. It's a little $3 a month. You get a free t-shirt or hoodie of your choosing. And, of course, discount on clothing as well. So, guys, obviously the NFL season has kind of hit a kind of the dark season, right? We're like we're kind of in that limbo. The next official football season doesn't really start until like mid-March or early April, and then we got the draft and then like the off season stuff happening. So like right now we're kind of in that dead period. So there are a lot of rumors and a lot of speculations that start to surface, right? And one of the biggest things right now is Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. went down this year with a ACL injury, and many people said that the Browns were done once Odell went down. And I sat here and said I think the Browns are better without Odell Beckham Jr. Now the trade talks are starting to surface about Odell Beckham Jr. Odell is on contract with the Browns until 2023. He is owed $14.3 million this season. However, trades between the Buccaneers and the Browns are starting to heat up. So, Wyatt, what are your thoughts about Odell Beckham Jr. going to Tampa Bay?
I think it would be a really nice addition for them, especially if they do lose guys like a guy like Godwin. A lot of people like to mention that he's a diva, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter when you're playing with Tom Brady, okay? Tom Brady could play with the biggest divas in the world. I mean, look at some of Tom Brady's former teammates that he made work. Aaron Hernandez, that's a big name there. He was a murderer. I mean, if you can make him change his ways, at least for the short time of being what it was. Eventually, that all spiraled out of control, of course. But for that short time being, he got his act together. Antonio Brown, that's another big one. Ever since the Fontes Burfict hit, while he was in a Pittsburgh uniform, he has not been the same. Went to the Raiders, had some ridiculous stuff going out there. Went to the Patriots. The whole allegation thing came up with the trainer. Left there. Then he went to Tampa with Tom, and it works again. Tom Brady is just that kind of a player. He brings everybody together. It is, a lot of people like to say it's the Patriot way, but I like to say now that it's the Tom way. It's the Tom Brady way. A lot of guys will change who they are, what they do to fit that system. Look at Mike Evans is another guy. Mike Evans is a known hothead, a known guy who wants the money, all that good stuff. He's already talking about taking pay cuts to stay on the same team as Tom Brady. So does that tell you anything? I mean, all that says is that he can do whatever he wants, and these guys are going to follow suit. It is the Tom Brady way now. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And Odell will get his act together to play with Tom Brady. That's a guaranteed thing because Odell wants to win a Super Bowl, and that's what Tom Brady does. Tom Brady wins Super Bowls.
Who doesn't want to win a Super Bowl though, right?
Yeah,
right. I don't see Odell going to Tampa Bay. I don't see him fitting in Tampa Bay. I don't see, it's just Odell's one of those guys who wants to be the guy. He wants to get the ball most of the time, and that's why I still think for a guy like Odell, New England is the right spot for him. He'll go there. He'll be the number one wide receiver. He'll be the main focus of the offense. I mean, that's where it makes the most sense to land. That's the team that wants him the most, so I could see him there. Nobody, I'm listening to reports come out of Tampa Bay now, and everything that's everybody's talking about. Mike Evans has said, I'll take less money if it means we can hang on to some of these guys. Tom Brady's been like that his entire career. So I think that they're starting to build that I guess you call it the Patriot way, but maybe it's the Tom Brady way. They're starting to get that in Tampa Bay. And it's a good sign. I mean, look, Tampa Bay is going to be good for the foreseeable future anyway.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but the reason why Tom Brady left New England was because he wanted to get paid. He wanted some money, and that's why he left New England, because the Patriots weren't willing to pay him.
He left New England because they didn't have enough to win, and he knew that. He still
I think he also left because he was... I think he was also leaving because he was done with Bill. I think there were several reasons too. He wanted to make his own legacy. He wanted to prove that he could do it in the NFC as well.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of factors on that one.
Don't forget, Bill wanted him out a few years ago and wanted Jimmy G to take over. I think that was started the end of Brady in New England, and he went out and won another Super Bowl, went to two more after that, and then said, you know what, I can do this on my own. Everybody keeps talking about Bill Belichick this, Bill Belichick that. I'm a system quarterback. Well, he just went into another completely different system and took the Patriot way and made it that in Tampa Bay, and now they just won another Super Bowl. So
right,
yeah.
So you're starting to steer this conversation mainly toward Tom Brady, but let's wrap it back over to Odell Beckham Jr. and what you said, Combs, on your first argument there, that like you think Odell Beckham Jr. fits well in New England to become a number one guy. We saw when Odell Beckham Jr. is, quote, the number one guy, he crumbles under the pressure. When he was expected to perform in New York, he crumbled. Many people had him let's face it, what did Odell Beckham Jr. do in New York besides the catch, right? What did he do besides that? He never led the NFL in receiving yards or catches or yak yards or like anything like that. He was a subpar receiver. Let's be flat out honest.
I mean, I don't want to say he was a subpar receiver. I would say that.
Let me rephrase that and say overrated because many people had him pegged as a top 5 receiver in the NFL.
I think there's definitely room to say he was overrated for sure. I mean, I think that the catch was a huge part of it. If the catch wasn't a thing, though, I still think Odell Beckham Jr. would have been known as a top 15 receiver in the league. But I do agree with you. He was a little overrated, being seen as I mean, I even saw people thinking he was a top 3 receiver in the league because of his hands. But no, I mean, he had a couple of really good seasons with yardage. The last time that the Giants made the playoffs, he was really the guy who led them. I mean, Eli Manning was there, of course, and the defense wasn't terrible, but Eli Manning really only passed to Odell that year. I mean, Evan Ingram kind of underproved. Sterling Shepard kind of underproved on that team. The offensive line wasn't great. The biggest problem with Odell is the off-field antics with the boats. You know, I mean, they haven't won a playoff game ever since that Miami boat situation. I think it was Miami. So the off-field antics has been a big thing. You know, that would be the biggest problem that I would foresee with him going places. But like, I don't mean to keep steering this toward Tom Brady, but I feel like Tom Brady is a guy who fixes those problems. If he goes to New England, I don't see someone who fixes those problems. I see the same old Odell with you know, being that crazy personality. I think Patrick Mahomes is another really good leader who is going to steer people in the right direction. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to the Chiefs. I'm just saying playing under somebody that's a big leader to change your off-field antics, to change your patterns of what you do. That is really the main thing. And I think if he goes to a place like New England, I don't see Cam Newton has a lot of off-field antics. I feel like they would do it together. You know, there wouldn't be that leader to turn that around because, you know, Bill Belichick might step in. Oh, this is the Patriot way. But like I said, Tom Brady led the Patriot way. We're seeing that now. So I don't know what Patriot,
are
you know,
we seeing
and the same thing.
Or are we hearing it more?
I don't know. I mean, I think when you win 7 Super Bowls, you got it. I mean, there's something going on there. You got to do something along the lines.
I am like, let me go ahead, Combs. I'm sorry.
OBJ, we talk about, like, Buck, you say he's been, you know, he's only had 2 seasons where he hasn't had 1,000 yards receiving. Both of those seasons, he didn't play more than 7 games.
Right.
But the other, on the flip side of that, since 2016, he has only scored 5 or more touchdowns one of those seasons. So it's one of those where...
Sounds like Julio Jones, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you look at Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a great wide receiver, but what do they do in the red zone? They run the ball. It's a power run game, or they go to the tight end. There's a lot of tight end play in the red zone for the Falcons. Same thing, they were doing that with the Giants, and you know, Cleveland, you know, you really haven't seen much out of. They had a bad year last year, had a really good year this year, but Odell was hurt.
And I think that kind of follows along. Go ahead, Buck.
Well, I'm going to speak out loud here, or think out loud. I should say. Obviously, we're speaking out loud, right? But do you think Odell Beckham Jr. has to go to a team or play for a team that has a Super Bowl champion quarterback on their roster?
Yes. I think we've seen it time and time again. I mean, we saw him in New York. He didn't do anything. We saw him with a washed Eli Manning. So we've seen him with a veteran quarterback that's a good leader. Nothing happened. We've now seen him with the flashy young guy, Baker Mayfield. Nothing happened. It's all been duds.
But see,
so we've seen
again,
him
Baker
really
had a
across the
bad
board.
year last year, and the Browns had a bad year last year, and then this year he was hurt. So it's really hard.
But the games
to
he
judge
played,
so far.
he only had one good game this year, and I think that was against the Cowboys was his good game that he was in this year.
They were hot and cold.
I mean-
they were hot and cold all throughout the season up until probably about week 9.
And
They
they-
were hot and cold until Odell Beckham
Until
Jr.
Odell
got
went out,
hurt,
then they were
all
hot.
got
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
mean,
I think
maybe
he's
just
more
one
of an
those
issue.
guys who commands attention and wants to be the focus.
I think he's an
and when
Antonio
not,
Brown.
he disrupts. I mean, I just, Thomas McDonald chimes in here, says, if there isn't a good wide receiver to complement the other side to draw attention, he doesn't do well, or OBJ by himself isn't that dynamic receiver like a Brown or a Hopkins. I agree. I mean, it's not. He's definitely probably not a number 1 anymore. He's probably a number 2 or number 3, or maybe he was never even a number 1. But the fact that every single season, except for the 2 seasons he's been injured, he's had over 1,000 yards receiving. So he's doing something.
I definitely wouldn't say he's been a dud. I mean, I can't sit here and say that for sure. But I think the people who compared him to a top 3 receiver have really been kicking themselves ever since for saying that, because he's definitely not been a top 3 receiver. He had a lot of hype come behind him because, a lot of people like to just mention the catch, but he's had a lot of really good catches. There's been a lot of moments where I've been watching the Giants, whether if it was the Giants or the Browns play it, he's had some seriously great catches. The guy has ridiculous hands, whether if it was sideline catches like last year, he had that ridiculous one-handed grab on the sideline next to the end zone.
What if a
so
team
he's had
grabs
more
him and makes him the Amendola type? The guy who's coming out of the slot, running the slants, running the goal,
I don't-
you know what I mean? Not your premier wide receiver. Does he shine? Because for 2 reasons why I don't think that he does. For one, he would not like that. He will not like not being the number 1 guy. Like
He's
that,
not tough enough either.
Yeah, and that's my second reason is his mental toughness is not there. He cannot handle that stuff. And so I don't know, man. I don't know what you do. I think staying in New England could be a good thing for him. I think staying in New England, falling behind Landry, and being, he's got to get humbled. And maybe this humbled him. Maybe going to the playoffs and being better after he got injured, maybe that humbled him, and maybe that brings him to the mindset of, look, I just want to win.
and I would even
Go ahead.
go ahead, Buck.
No, go ahead. What? I'm going to change topics.
Kind of jumping on what you were saying there. I think he would actually kind of excel at that slot place. I think he's a really good slant route runner. I'm sure any team would love to have a deep threat at the slot position where you can run any route you want him to. But I mean, he's a really fast guy. He's got a lot of athleticism and built speed. Plus, he's only 5'11", so he hits those gaps very well. So I mean, I think he would work pretty well as a slot. But I do agree with Combs. I don't think he would like being the number 2, number 3 guy on a team. So therefore, I think he'll always be an out wide guy because that's just his ego.
That's where he needs to be humbled and just take a back seat and not care to be that face, because if you're going to be the face of the offense, if you're going to be the prime target of the offense, your team's in trouble. And Odell Beckham's just not that.
Well, speaking of being faces of the franchises, Tom Brady is now the face of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and obviously he had a very, very good time on the parade just a couple days ago.
Avocado tequila.
I'm not faulting the guy whatsoever, but what I am kind of concerned about, guys, is he is scheduled to have a minor knee surgery. First things first, you never put minor in front of any surgery whatsoever. Every surgery is very, very dangerous. Anything can happen, probably will happen at some point, right? But Tom Brady is scheduled to go underneath a knee surgery. So Combs, Brady has said he wants to play till 45 years old. The Buccaneers have said we are going to go for 2, not run it back, but they're going to go for 2. Can the Buccaneers go for 2 without Tom Brady?
Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are on the market. I think I changed my mind the other day after that parade. I think Tom Brady is done. I think that's why he went so hard during the celebration. I think that's why he, was as boisterous during the Super Bowl, mouthing off to Tyrann Mathieu and all that stuff, because that's not Tom Brady. But I think this was his last hurrah. And so I think they will have to go out and get a quarterback. And I think that even if Brady does come back for one more season, and he very well could, because this guy is not human. If he does come back for one more season, you have to have somebody waiting in the wing in case something happens, because he's not getting any younger. If he takes a hit or gets hit sideways or whatever the case is, jams his knee up, it's going to take him a lot longer to recover now, too. That's the other thing. You're in your 40s now. It's going to take you a lot longer to recover from injuries than it used to. So you need to have somebody back there that is capable of leading a Super Bowl caliber team. Do you go out? Do you bring Jameis Winston back? Do you go out? Do you get, I'm trying to think of quarterbacks that are available. Do you go out and get a quarterback?
Wentz.
Do you go out and get a Carson Wentz and let him sit underneath Tom Brady for a year or two?
That actually wouldn't be bad then, because then Carson could be the future of your team.
Yeah, but I don't know that Carson is willing to do that. I don't know that any of these quarterbacks that are on the carousel are really going to be willing to take a back seat, even if it is behind Tom Brady. So I think they have to talk to Tom. I think Tom has to be honest with them and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm doing. And I mean, I don't know. Did you guys not get that suspicion from him when you
this
got
was
this
was definitely a different celebration than what we saw in New England ever.
Yeah. It was a lot colder in New England when he was celebrating, though, too. So we'll give him that. But, I mean, he definitely went harder, though, right?
Well, so Sandy was saying, like maybe since he does take great care of his body, like he probably doesn't drink throughout the whole season, like at all, right? Maybe it's strictly just water and Gatorade all season. So you get 2-3 shots in you from not drinking, for 9-10 months. I mean, it hits you a little bit different. So maybe a little bit of dehydration, a little bit of that, it was just the perfect storm, maybe. But Combs, I'm kind of going on your trip there. Everything points to, hey, this was Tom Brady's last year, because this is the first time I have ever heard of him having any type of off-season surgeries too. So how do we know he is? I mean, yes, it is quote minor surgery, but how is he going to recover from that minor surgery? Right? It could be a simple knee. It could be a simple knee scope, but it could take him 2 months to recover.
Dude, I'll be 40 next month, and I'm telling you right now, if I have to go in for a surgery, mark me off for about 2 to 3 months extra from what a normal person has to recover, because my body just isn't the same as it was. Like and I'm an active guy. Like I play hockey, I play softball, like I do all these things, but I couldn't go to a tournament and play 7 games this weekend in a softball tournament like I used to. Forget it. I'd have to call out of work for the next 3 weeks. Like my body would just not recover the same as it used to. And he's 43 now. And granted, he's got a lot better trainers and a lot better personnel around him than I would. But it seems like it was a different celebration. It's going to be a different off season. I don't know that he comes back.
So Wyatt, let me snowball that question to you a little bit. If this is Tom Brady's last year in Tampa, first things first, should Tom Brady give the Buccaneers the respects of like saying, hey, right now I am done, so they can possibly go get a free agent quarterback, or do they address quarterback situation in the draft?
So, first off, he should tell them. I think he most likely would. But I don't think this is the last year. I think that this knee surgery is just them extending the years. I mean, I get it. The older you get, that, it takes longer to recover. But they even said, like, this is a surgery to extend his career. This isn't a surgery like, for example, a torn ACL that is a repair. This isn't a repair. This is just something that is a little off, so they're kind of tweaking it and moving it back in. Whatever it is, I'm not a big medical guy, but whatever it is in his knee, something is a little off, and they're just moving it back to normal so that he can extend his career. This isn't some huge knee surgery. And Buck, I agree with you 100%. You shouldn't say that any surgery is minor, because anytime you go under the knife, there things can absolutely go wrong. But you got to remember, these are NFL doctors. I mean, these guys are paid millions on millions on millions to not mess up. I mean, we've only had one.
Tyrod Taylor's
that's what I was getting at. We've only had one big. We've only had one big mess up, and that was a guy who's in LA. But I'm sure the person operating. Exactly, yeah. I'm sure the person that's operating on Tom Brady, with as much care as he takes over his body, I'm sure they're not just going to take any scrub and just toss him on top of Tom Brady with a knife and say, "Hey,
everybody
fix
has
his
a bad
knee."
day, though. Everybody has a bad day, though. Wyatt. Like one, like first of all, like that microscope that they put in the knee is like yay long, right? One little sneeze, man, you're tearing that ACL. Boom.
Oh my god.
Right?
It absolutely could happen, but I mean, the guy's going to play till he's 45, and genuinely, I would not be surprised if he won 2 more Super Bowls, and then like maybe at 46 was like, hey, this is the victory lap. We're winning one more, and I'm getting out of here. I want to leave with 10. Like, would you think about it for a second? Break it down in your head. Would you really be surprised if Tom Brady left an NFL career with 10 Super Bowls? He's already got 7. Okay, he wants to play 2 more years. That's not going to work. So if he wins the next 2, I really wouldn't be surprised if Tom was like, hey, round it up, Gronk, everybody, we're coming back 1 more year, 1 victory lap, and this is it. Let's the entire NFL know that this is all. And he's going to go out like Peyton Manning. He's going to go out with a Super Bowl. And then he's going to get this long retirement speech with a ring on all 10 fingers. And probably like, reach up here and itch his face, and a diamond will get stuck up here or something. I don't know.
I am so glad I got my boots on because you are just spitting shit out your mouth right now. Because we saw it with the Kansas City Chiefs. It is so hard to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Even like just making it back.
Who was the last quarterback that did it?
Peyton Manning, wasn't it?
Nope.
Tom Brady.
Peyton Manning did go back-to-back Super Bowl, but they lost the first one, right?
Yeah, they lost.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah. But there's no way the Bucs are repeating with the team that they have right now.
Are you betting against Tom Brady?
I am betting for a back-to-back Super Bowl at Tampa Bay, yes.
Yeah, me too.
I will take that bet
if
every
Tom
day of the
Brady
week.
is their quarterback, I'm betting on Tampa Bay going back. Got some stuff going on in the chat line here, guys. Let's get to it before we take another break. Hoffy says, watch your tone of voice, Wyatt. My son's named after Hernandez.
Was Aaron Hernandez a murderer before he went? Or let me rephrase that. Alleged murderer before he went?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been a lot of stuff that come out. And Wyatt, one of the things that you said was that, Tom Brady got him to go away from all that stuff for a little while before it blew. No, he was doing all that stuff the night before a Super Bowl or something like that, wasn't it? Or this guy was doing it during the course of the season. Like, I mean, this guy was a murderer by day, football player by night type guy.
That's fine by me.
If you look at the progression of the stuff that he did in high school, then what he did in college, then when he got to the pros, he was on schedule to do something horrible like that. But there was a slight delay in that time period where he got underneath the Patriot way and he calmed down for a second. But then it all spiraled out of control again. Wasn't it his dad? His dad dying, I think, was what really blew it up there at the end.
No, what really blew it?
His dad died when he was in high
was
school.
him sleeping with the transvestites. That's what really blew it up, and he got caught.
Hoffman, we're going to move on here. Hoffy says salary cap was a major issue, even if Tom and Bill did want a reunion. That's true too.
But we are seeing it with teams. There is always ways to trim the fat to backload a contract. Yeah. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a lot of cap room, even though they gave Patrick Mahomes $500 million, right? But it is all about the wording and where you put that cash. So, the Chiefs have a very good cap space to bring people back. So
isn't it? It's like they'll have 97 cents in one of Patrick Mahomes' years on their salary cap.
It's like year 7, yeah.
They'll have like 90. They planned it out money wise that well that in year 7 they will have 97 cents to the entire franchise's name salary cap wise.
Which that will probably
Less
be
than
restructured. That'll be restructured.
Drew says OBJ equals ODB, so Odell Beckham Jr. equals Old Dirty Bastard. Thomas McDonald wants to know, how about Juju to Oakland?
I believe he's in Vegas. Juju to Vegas. I mean, like honestly, Juju to anywhere that has a quarterback with a strong arm and a second receiver will be good because we saw that Juju is not a number 1 receiver. He needed Antonio Brown to be the guy. So
and they're
Juju
shopping
can be the
Mariota now to make Carr happy, so he's going to have a quarterback there. I mean, look, like him or not, and people dog Carr all the time, but his numbers are that of a top 10 quarterback.
Which this year I think he proved that he is a top 10 quarterback.
Oh yeah,
He had a great
absolutely,
year.
absolutely.
Great year. But
Jameson says if Brady
they're also
retired
shopping Mariota and Carr to make room for Watson. Let's be honest about that.
That wouldn't shock me either. I mean, I'd make room for anybody other than Patty Mahomes to get Watson. Jameson
Josh
says
Allen?
if Brady if Brady retired with 10 rings, that would be amazing. Look, if that
First of
man
all,
wins 3 more Super Bowls, everybody on planet Earth should stop playing football because nobody will ever be as good as that.
Yeah.
Ever.
And speaking of which, Jameson has become the biggest Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan overnight. If you scroll through his Facebook page, it is Tom Brady this, Buccaneers that. This guy is a San Francisco 49er guy. He is like George Kittle's fan club president or something like that. And now all of a sudden it's Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, Bucks
How about
this.
this one from Jameson? Tom Brady's 8-year-old daughter has held the Super Bowl trophy more than the Cowboys.
Yeah, me and Cindy were actually talking. We're actually talking about that. So Tom Brady's kids held the trophy before any of the other teammates did. Like, how would that make you feel? Like
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they were up there like on the stage, and the owner of the Bucks, I forget his name, handed the trophy to Tom, and like Tom's like, "Here, kids." Like he's like it didn't matter.
Let's go put this in the trophy shelf next to the other 6.
Yeah.
Dad, I broke the other one last week. It doesn't matter. I got you a new one. Here, just go. Get out of my face.
And then Drew says Carr is good. Yes, he's very good. Very good. Top 10 quarterback in the league right now for sure.
Honestly, like if Carr
Carson Wentz is better.
If Carr would have been on a team that has had a steady like offensive coordinator head coach his whole career with like a decent offensive people around him, we would be talking about him as a top 10 quarterback all the time.
Cough, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, exactly.
Cough, Carson Wentz.
Cough, Carson Wentz. So Combs, I do hear that Carson Wentz is going to Chicago. It's starting to heat up more and more and more.
Woo!
What are your initial thoughts, man? Ready to break?
Go to break.
All right, guys, we'll be right back on the Man Hour. We got the world famous What Does after the break, guys. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse. If you guys have not head over to the website yet, do so. manhourradio.com to become a member over there. We send out promos. We send out free gear all the time as well. And you also get behind-the-scenes footage of the boys that are on screen right here, Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. Guys, so we missed the Whattas last night. Normally we do the Whattas on the Wednesday, but we had a great interview with Foster, and then we had Hoffy on, and so, like, our time gets crunched. Like, yes, we're on here for 2 hours, but sometimes I feel a little rushed sometimes. Sometimes I feel like we need 3 or 4 hours, guys. Like, would that make your wives happy to go 3 or 4 hours?
You know what, Michelle wouldn't mind.
Be in trouble.
She would just, I would have to definitely spend my time more wisely on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Right. No more getting drunk off of 2 beers watching UFC fights, huh?
I don't get. First of all, I don't get drunk off of 2 beers. Second of all,
are you a lightweight, Combs? Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
what?
he just 4'5", so that was 2 beers or 20% of his bottle there. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get to the world infamous Whattas right now.
Wrong one, Buck.
My first What the Nut is going to go out to Brandon Combs. Combs, you keep flipping the overlays on me, and muscle memory took over right there. So we got the shop talk like overway. So Brandon Combs, don't do that again. You get the What the.
My first What the Night goes out to Buck. Because Buck can't look at the overlays before he clicks on one and wants to blame me for putting the wrong overlay up. So, Buck, you get the What the.
And my first What the goes to both of you, because neither of you can figure this out. Guys, what the?
Maybe you should have pushed it. My next What the actually goes out to all 3 of us for not being smart enough to realize that if we bet $50,000 on a prop bet and then we went out and did the act of that prop bet, that we will win $375,000. Now, I know there's some stories out there that this guy may not get paid out or his friends may not get paid out, but at least we'd be smarter about it if we did do this, and at least we wouldn't tell people and we wouldn't be running our mouths until maybe a year after and we've spent all the money. But
and it's gone.
For not thinking of it, all 3 of us get the What the.
All right, now time to get to some real Whattas. My first Whatta of the actual night is going to go out to LeBron James. LeBron James come out on Twitter and said that he is basically not going to play the NBA All-Star game because he feels wore out. He like he's tired. He basically just doesn't care about the All-Star game. So LeBron James, if you don't care about the All-Star game, why do you have to make it public and say I don't want to play? Like just fly under the radar and don't show up. I mean, people do it all the time. Just don't do it. LeBron James, you get the What the, man.
You just thought of that right before that. All right, my next What the actually is going to go out to Tom Brady and Cameron Brate. What in the world makes you think that you could have a boat celebration and decide that you want to toss the Super Bowl trophy from one boat to another? Do you realize if you miss on that catch and that Super Bowl trophy, the Lombardi goes to the bottom of the Tampa Bay? Like, not only one are 50,000 drunk people going to die trying to die for it and go get their hands on it, but you're going to lose the Super Bowl trophy. So Cameron Brate, Tom Brady, you get the what the.
My next what that goes out to all of the haters of Mr. Trey Kaufman, okay? Trey Kaufman is an athlete here in Southern Indiana who is on our show all the time, and he is a Purdue commit, right? And everybody is, there were these people telling me he's overrated. I even had somebody telling me that that he won't be a great basketball player, all this stuff, okay? And then he goes and proceeds in his last 2 games to put up 43 points in one half and then put up 25 against a really good team and his rival team, Floyd Central. So all you Trey Kaufman haters out there, you guys get the what the.
What that goes out to Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark compares Zach Wilson and his talents to Patrick Mahomes. Look, I'm not so much upset about the comparison of his talents, but why don't we let these quarterbacks come into the NFL without the expectations of who they are going to be like? Because when you're comparing him to a quarterback who has gone to 2 Super Bowls in 3 seasons, that puts the expectations through the roof. So you cannot come out here and keep giving these kids these expectations of being these NFL stars, and then when they come out and they're only half of what these NFL stars are, they're looked at as a bust. Let this kid come into the NFL, let him play, and let the proof show. Just like San Diego did with their quarterback this year. They came out, nobody said anything about it. Tyrod Taylor gets his lung punctured. He comes in, and Justin Herbert sets the world on fire. So stop giving these guys expectations. Ryan Clark, you get the what the.
Combs, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. You definitely hit the nail on the head on that one. My next what the of the night is going to go out to all these people that don't think Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback in the league. He would make any team in the NFL better right now besides like 4 or 5. He has more upside than Deshaun Watson. We've seen Deshaun Watson's peak. We haven't seen Carson's peak yet. So for all you Carson Wentz haters out there, Combs, stop hating on him. You got to get the what, though.
Now it's going to seem like we rehearsed this, but I promise you guys, we do not know what each other's what-does are heading into this segment because we like the raw reactions of each guy. And so my next what the goes out to the Bears, who are rumored to trade for Carson Wentz or draft Mac Jones. So you're telling me that you are either going to trade for a guy who is maybe a half a step above the guy that you did not offer a 5th-year option to, or you are going to draft a guy who is projected to go maybe in the 3rd or 4th round, and you're going to trade up to do so in the 1st round. So Chicago Bears front office, as always, you get the what the. Picture gets me every time.
Okay, like Combs said, this is not rehearsed at all. My next what that was going to go out to the Carson Wentz haters. But first off, Buck stole it. Combs doubled down on it. So I'm going to have to go a completely different route here.
Third time the charm, man. Do it. No, third time the charm, do it.
Okay, all right. Mine goes out to the Carson Wentz haters out there, all right? The people like Combs that think that Carson Wentz is a bad quarterback. Okay, Carson Wentz is an MVP caliber quarterback and a top 10 quarterback in this league if healthy and he has good assets around him. So to all you Carson Wentz haters out there, you guys get the what the.
All right, let's go to the comments and then let me answer this.
Before we go to the comments, my next what that goes out to Combs. Combs, they can hear you talking and the overlay is on. So
I know.
Jeez.
I actually had one left too.
So my what that goes out to you because I know. You ain't telling me nothing I don't know.
I have one final what the actually here. And it goes to Combs as well, all right? For giving me and Buck crap about our teams losing, okay? Playing all those overlays with our quarterbacks faces on McGregor or our team's shirts on McGregor, okay? When his team can't even get a GM correct, okay? Yeah, show that all you want, but your team can't even get a GM correct, let alone get players correctly, all right? So Combs, Bears, Pace, Trubisky, Ditka, the Bears.
The Bears have sucked since 1985. Congratulations. Your Packers are better than the Bears who've sucked for 30-plus years. Congratulations. What do you want, a freaking cookie? Jesus Christ. Hey, I bet you if you ask your maids to make you a cookie, they'll make you a cookie. My goodness.
So salty.
At any rate, you talk about Carson Wentz and all the Carson Wentz haters. You're talking about a quarterback who has, in one season out of his 5 seasons that he's been in the league, one season has he had a completion percentage above 63%. One season has he thrown for over 3,700 yards. This guy is not something that everybody's making. He had that one season where he was supposedly an MVP season, and what was that? That was 2017 when they were 11-2, and his completion percentage was 60.2. He had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. But basically, his career touchdowns to interception ratio is actually pretty much 2-1. So I don't understand the love for Carson Wentz here because Carson Wentz is not the guy. So stop with all the Carson Wentz love because the numbers tell you you're a moron.
Because if he goes to the Bears, he's the next greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh, my God. Stop it. Let's get to the comment section here.
Oh, Jinx.
I had my knee scoped when I was 7th grade, says Drew. Took me 2 months to recover then. I don't want to know how long it would take now. I'm 44. Yeah, that's...
Well, I mean...
That's a hell of a one.
Also on that, the technology has changed a lot. Like now, they just poke it in there. Like I think you're in not like 10 minutes, honestly. But
that was back whenever they used rusty tools.
Jameson says 49ers are working on a Watson trade package, but it's more likely a trade for Darnold. What do you guys think about that? If you're the 49ers, are you packaging up for Watson or are you packaging up for Darnold?
I actually saw something earlier. Well, I actually saw something earlier, speaking of Darnold, that said that the Jets aren't even looking at any trades right now for Darnold. They're not answering anybody.
I wouldn't. If I'm the Jets, look, Darnold is a product of a very bad situation in New York. Like
he's almost as good as Carson Wentz.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Jesus, you could screw up a wet dream.
Well, hang on 1 second. If you want, like, first things first, any smart GM, any front ownership is going to basically shield that question away, like, hey, we aren't actively shopping a guy. Because if you want a quarterback to be or if you want any player to be the face of your franchise and you're actively searching for a trade partner for him and you don't find one, they're going to come back next year and not produce because they feel unwanted.
If you put it to me that way, if you want Watson or Darnold, obviously you want Watson. But the price tag is a lot less on Darnold, and you're going to get a very, quarterback. Very good quarterback out of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is a really good quarterback that has been in a horrible situation his entire career.
Who do you think has more upside on him?
Honestly, I love Watson, and I'm not
because
trying to
you already know what Watson is. Watson is a top 3 quarterback in this league. Watson has more, or Darnold has more upside because he's got, you can get more out of what you're paying for. But Watson is, to me, Watson is the 3rd best quarterback in the league right now behind Brady and Mahomes.
Good what?
What? Combs, you get the what the for that. No, okay. Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback, but you want to talk about underproving, and you like to give me crap on Aaron Rodgers about that all the time, but Deshaun Watson underproves. He had the best receiver in the league in Hopkins at one time.
He also had a horrible
decent
coaching
running back.
staff, horrible play calling.
That's it. He only had a horrible coach and a horrible playing call. He has a lot of pieces around him. And Aaron Rodgers had a terrible coach and play calling around him for the longest time. Aaron Rodgers still got his way to the Super Bowl at a very, very young age.
He got a great coach this year and got great play calling around him this year. But what they do in the NFC title game?
But before that,
NFC title game
McCarthy.
This year? Oh yeah,
lost.
Before that, okay.
But at least we made it to the conference championship game.
Anyway,
the Texans couldn't figure out how to win 5 games.
We're not talking about the Packers again. Tori Anderson said the Mets trying to trade for every player in baseball. They get the what the. Yeah. Penelope Smith says as well as the what the. How about some ain't nobody got time for that.
I love that. So I actually saw that comment on the youtube.com/manhour. If you guys not watching us over there, you should be. I already had the jingle in my head. Like, you guys know that black girl. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Mondays.
Oh my God.
Let's
we should
do
play
it.
that. We should play that jingle every time Wyatt talks about the Packers.
That would be a whole 2-hour show, nothing but the jingle,
That's
wouldn't
true.
it? That's true. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we are going to break it down for you guys, like here, maybe shed a few tears, yada yada yada. But this is the Man Hour, guys. This is live, raw, and uncut sports talk. So we'll be right back here right after the break.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Man Hour Nation, what is going on? It's your boy Brandon Combs back with you guys. I want to talk to you. We talked to you a little bit earlier about this Angel with an A ride. It's a memorial motorcycle ride for Angela Dewey on May 1st, 2021. It's $25 per rider. Every $25 buys you another card. So you're going to get a card for every $25. Top 10 poker hands will win a prize. So, get that money out there and possibly win a prize, but also support a good cause. All proceeds go to a scholarship fund in Angela Dewey's memory. For every $250 donated by Man Hour listeners, Man Hour will donate an additional $25. So, hey, empty my pockets, baby. Let's do this. To donate, contact Jesse Dewey at Jesse_Dewey@yahoo.com. One of the things I wanted to go ahead and get out there is a little blurb that came through to me by Jesse. One of the things that you guys hear me talk a lot about on this show is how I play hockey, I play softball, and all that. the softball community is a very tight-knit community, and I met Jesse, who runs, a boatload of softball tournaments up in the Vermont area, and one of the ones that I met her through is through a charity tournament that she runs every single year for Special Olympics. And so when I heard about this one that she's trying to do now, because of a tragedy that came through with her family a few years back, I really wanted to do something to pay that back to her, because she tries to do so much good that some good should be done for her as well. So one of the things that she wrote to me was about what this is all about. And on September 6, 2018, my sister Angela was taken from us at the age of 32. She had lived a full life of trials and tribulations. To say the least, she was dealt a hand no one should ever have to face. From domestic assault, eating disorder, and PTSD. The night she passed away, she had an epileptic seizure in her bed and was not found in time to save her. My sister was always so proud of me and the work I do with students every day as a special educator, and so I decided that I needed to find a healthy way to grieve her loss. I decided to start a scholarship in her memory. I think that my sister would have pursued a different career opportunities had there been more scholarships that were academic-based, as many of them are. My hopes with the scholarship is to provide some money for a student that has overcome adversity and beaten the odds, just like my sister did. I never said it enough, but I was so proud of her every single day. And, stuff like that always hits home. I mean, I've lost family members, I've lost friends. It's never an easy thing to deal with. So to the Dewey family, we send our deepest sympathies and our love and our prayers. And we are going to do everything we can to get all of our listeners out there to go ahead and donate there. So, guys, anything that you guys can do, whether it be $5, $10, $25, $100, whatever you guys want to donate to a great cause, I encourage you to do so, because I promise you that all of this money will be used in the right way. And so, Buck, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely one of those guys. I mean, we did this a few years ago, a few months ago on TSS when we lost a close friend in the softball community as well, who had taken his own life. And, his name was Jack Sweet, and, the video meant a lot to a lot of people, and I still get messages about that episode to this day. So I think that we could do some good here, and we have a really strong community with Man Hour Nation. We've got a lot of very good listeners, a lot of very good people listen to this show. We talk to them on the daily. So I think we could do some good, and that's what this is about. So we have until May 1st to go ahead and make these donations and get everything, and make this motorcycle ride what it should be, and a tribute to somebody who overcame a lot in their life, and then ultimately their life was taken from them at a very young age with, it's just a tragedy. And so I just hope that we as Man Hour Nation, and we here at the Man Hour, can do something for them.
Yeah, like anytime somebody passes away, dies, gets killed, etc., is a tragedy in itself. But when it's a young person, such as a 32-year-old, such as Angela was, it hits home even more. Just because that is the age that I am right now. I am 32 years old, and I could not think of what if I don't come to in the morning, it's just it is something that doesn't cross my mind at all. And let's say obviously the cash helps a lot, but guys, we will be posting this image up on the Facebook page at least once a week until that May 1st ride. But if you guys cannot donate anything, just share that as well. Just a share is just as good as a cash donation as well. Obviously, this is going to a good cause. This is going to a scholarship foundation. So it is helping somebody in a deepest of tragedies, and this is something that I can rally behind 100%.
And now, I mean, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who are newer to the Man Hour, my military background, I'm one of those who donates every month to, a lot of charities in the military world. Thank you, Penelope. I appreciate that very much. We will get you that. I'll get you that information again to email Jesse to go ahead and donate your $25. But it's one of those things that you watch when you donate. You're like, okay, I donated the money. And then you tend to forget about the fact that you donated or what you donated for. Sometimes these things, they go beyond what you can imagine. I know one of the ones that I do is for the Till Valhalla project. And one of my favorite things to do, even though it definitely brings tears to the eyes at least once a month, is that when I get my little form that they send me, it shows all of the things that all of our money went to. So it's for headstones and for plaques for fallen soldiers whose families don't have enough money to maybe get them the things that they need to get. And when you see the videos and the stories of the lives and the families that you're touching of those fallen soldiers, man, it really hits home. And this is one of those things, man. What she's doing here isn't raising money to try to help pay for funeral costs or anything like that. What she's doing is trying to help somebody get their education in honor of her sister. And to me, that is something that is worth donating to. That is something that is worth doing whatever you can to help out, whether if it's not money, even a share, like Buck said. Anything you can do to help out and help this cause would be absolutely, positively amazing.
And this is a motorcycle ride. You said May 1st, Combs. Like, is this based out of the Chicago area where the motorcycle ride will be?
No, so this is out of Vermont, I want to say, I can't remember the. I got it right here.
So the reason that I ask is because my dad's motorcycle group that he has founded for PTSD for military folk. They do a every summer or like every month once summer starts. May, June, July, August, September. I think even like October they go for like a ride. And so I'm going to challenge them to make it up to Vermont. Granted, that's probably like a 18-hour motorcycle trip ride, but I know my dad has an iron ass, so he is definitely on board for it 100%. So
it's definitely in Randolph, Vermont, and so Randolph, Vermont is a small community in Vermont. I mean, it's not very big at all, but things that we do in that softball community up there. I mean, we are a family. Look, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays when we go play softball, we're there at 1 or 2 o'clock on a Friday, and we're there all weekend long until Sunday afternoon. Even if we're out of the tournament, we're watching the other teams play, and we're cheering them on and having fun with our friends, probably having a few beers, hanging out, talking, and just having a good old time. And you become more like family than you are friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's very tight knit up there.
Been there, done that. So love it very much.
I love every bit of it, and Jesse's been very big in that with, like I said, with Special Olympics tournament that she puts on every year. That's another one that's near and dear to my heart. So anytime I see anything with Special Olympics on it, I love to go ahead and do everything I can to raise money. I mean, I've bought raffle tickets. I've done all sorts of stuff, just to raise money. And when you get into stuff like this, it just helps you kind of feel better. Like you're doing something to try to make a difference. Even though it's not a big difference, maybe it is, and you just don't know it until, later on in life. But regardless, giving back is always something that I've been a big part of.
All right, guys, so we are going to take a quick little break here on the Man Hour. I'm going to pop some information up there. This is Angel with an A memorial motorcycle ride, May 1st, 2021, $25 per rider up there in Rudolph, Vermont, right? Combs?
Randolph,
Vermont. So go ahead and donate, guys. It'd be highly, highly appreciated.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And my mic does sound right because this is Mike on the mic. What's going on, guys? Michael Buckheiser back from Man on the Mat. Wow. Man on the Man. Wow. I messed that up.
What were you watching during break?
I was watching that freaking Jason Banks YouTube, or the not YouTube, but the TikTok channel. And he has that son that's always like, "Hey boys, come arrest me." And that guy just
that went sideways quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But this is Michael Buckheiser, guys, on the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. If you miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can check us out on podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio as well. We are going to close the loyalty points in 30 minutes, so you guys, you have until 9:45 East Coast time to
do people even have a chance to catch
Try to catch Corey Anderson, I guess, maybe. But there is still a chance. Football kid Murray, which I believe that is Stacy. She still has the best chance. Combs Jr. isn't in here tonight, so he probably doesn't have a chance at like at all. But there is still a chance for anybody to win it. Just gamble, comment, and then of course you guys, if you share this as well on any platform, Twitter or Facebook, Periscope, or whatever you share stuff to, you still have an opportunity to get those points as well. So, guys, we have been. This has obviously been a very, very NFL heavy show. We've had a heavy heart show, and we are going to kind of continue that heavy heart theme right now. Unfortunately, because this is the world that we live in. Is there are some evil people out in the world, and Chad Wheeler. For those people that do not remember him, he is the person that strangled his girlfriend or wife, basically left her for dead, and he was surprised that she was still alive and said, "Oh, you are still alive." He pleaded not guilty today for charges stemming from that. The first court date was supposed to be in mid-April. That has been moved back to June because he's basically going to try to plead an insanity case. Like at this point. So Combs, I know you are a big advocate. You basically want this guy to rot in hell right now, 100%. So what are your initial thoughts of him pleading not guilty in these charges?
Same as they were before. This guy's a freaking coward, and doesn't deserve to play another down in the NFL. Doesn't deserve to get another payday in the NFL. Definitely doesn't even deserve to see the outside of his cell for a very long time. And the fact that they are only charging him with first-degree assault as opposed to first-degree attempted murder is beyond me. I mean, there's got to be something in the law and how it happened, and that's why they can only charge him with this or that. I just, the guy's a piece of crap. And I don't know, like whatever. I mean, I hope he gets the Aaron Hernandez treatment.
Why? Any thoughts on that?
I totally agree with him 100%. I think that I think it's horrible that he's pleading this just to look insane, to plead this just to try and get out of it in any way, shape, form, and or fashion, to try and make his way back to the NFL. I'm sure that eventually that day will come, because we see it time and time again, and it's not right. What he did was terrible, and he deserves jail time 110%. But I'm sure with as much money as he has, and I'm sure with the big name that he has, I'm sure that he is most likely just going to plead insanity, get that, and then have some kind of a minimum punishment. But I agree with Combs that a attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, whatever you want to call it, I believe that is the correct term for this. I don't think he should get insanity by the sheer fact that, he is insane, but I don't think that is, that's not the issue here. It would be different if this was, once again, not saying this is okay at all, but it would be completely different if this was a one-time thing. This was a multiple-time thing. He did this many times and never went to seek help. So if this was an insanity issue, and this was a real, true thing, he would have went out and sought help immediately. He would have said, hey, I think there's something wrong with my brain, whether if I have CTE, whether if I have some kind of mental disorder with my anger or something is not right, and I need help. But he didn't do that. He chose to let it boil and fume more and get worse and worse and worse until eventually it just popped. And it's not necessarily a I'm sorry, but at the moment I'm kind of feeling like it's an I'm sorry I got caught.
Yeah, and I think that's what bothers me the worst about the not guilty plea is that it almost makes him saying, "Oh, this was just a mistake. I'm sorry." This was not a mistake. This was a calculated thing that you have done more than once. And there is no mistake when you beat someone, especially your wife, to within an inch of her life, and then when she gets up, say, "Oh, I don't know." So this goes out for anybody who's out there, any of the guys listening, anybody who's out there who has ever laid their hands on a woman like that. You are a piece of garbage, and you do not deserve to do anything. Like, you are the lowest form of human scum that I can think of. It drives me nuts. I hate talking about this crap. The fact that we even give this guy 5 minutes to talk about it just drives me nuts.
So let me address some of the comments that, like you said, Combs, and like what you said as well. Yes, I do agree with you guys. It should have been first degree attempted murder because he basically left her there for dead and was surprised that she was alive, right? But I do know we have some police officers and police ladies that are in our comment sections a lot. So thank you for you guys for your service right off the bat. We definitely support you guys over here at the Man Hour 100%. But when you are a district attorney, you file charges that you can win 100%. So there is probably somewhere some cloudy thing that is happening saying, hey, we can charge him for first degree, but we're probably not going to get that. So they are basically putting charges on him that they know that that will stick, no matter if he pleads crazy or the best lawyer or so they're trying to put themselves in the best position to win because they do want to see him behind the bars for sometimes because if you try him for first degree and he gets off, he gets no jail time whatsoever. So let's try him for the lesser charge and hopefully it sticks, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know what the prosecutors or the state's attorney are even thinking by being any less than attempted murder. Maybe I just don't understand the law enough, but I mean, to me, this is,
they probably don't want headline news, so they're trying to keep it hush hush. Let's be honest. So
yeah,
because look what happened here in Louisville, and what's been happening in Seattle since the whole Louisville thing happened, right? So I'm sure they're tired of it. So let's go ahead and move on and stick to the NFL, but on that sour note, that sour trend that we're trying to end the show with here, Matthew Stafford said this was the hardest thing that he ever had to do, and that was going to the Detroit Lions front office asking for a trade. So with that being said, Combs, you are an advocate of players, wasting their careers, and I think we're all on the same boat here and saying that Matt Stafford did waste many of his life there in Detroit. But do you think this is kind of just like, hey, I'm sorry that I'm leaving, just like on this note, or does he generally feel bad for leaving the community?
No, I think Matthew Stafford's a stand-up guy, so I think that he is genuinely sorry to the fans that he couldn't bring them a championship, but I don't think he needs to be sorry for asking for a trade. He should have asked for a trade 5 years ago. Once, there are reasons why Barry Sanders and Megatron retired early from this organization, because this organization does not do what it needs to do to put a Super Bowl contending team on the field. And I mean, they've wasted, again, another quarterback's career. Look, is Matthew Stafford Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? No, he's not. But is he a very good quarterback that probably could have won a Super Bowl or two? Yeah, probably. He's got some of the qualities of a Peyton Manning. He's got some of the qualities of some of these other quarterbacks that are not named, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. He's got some very good qualities that you want in a quarterback. I would have asked for a trade a long time ago, and Matthew Stafford going, to the Rams is a good thing for Matthew Stafford, and he should not have to apologize for that.
Why, you are a habitual, basically fan of seeing quarterbacks waste away in the respective teams. What are your initial thoughts about what you heard about Matthew Stafford?
I mean, I get it. I mean, I kind of get, you spend some time in an area for so long, you become a part of the community. I mean, he's like Combs said, he's a good stand-up guy. He really is. So, I mean, I could see him feeling bad for the fans, that he's got to go. But I don't necessarily see him feeling bad for the, front office. I mean, yeah, they drafted him. Yeah, they did, they got him into the league. Sure, he could feel gratitude for them for that, but somebody else would have ended up drafting him. He was the number 1 overall pick that year. He was ridiculous talent coming out of college. So I think he should feel more of less anger toward the front office. That's what we were talking pre-show, and I was like, why is he, apologizing to anybody other than the fans? Because, the front office isn't giving him anything. The best thing that they ever did for him, now trying to think on it now, is, I don't even know what the best thing would ever been. Maybe drafting Kenny Galladay, bringing in Marvin Jones.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta be the bigger
that.
person, and that's what he's doing there, Wyatt. I mean, he's just being the bigger person in that situation.
So, me kind of being in this similar situation. So, when you leave a situation, like you're asking to leave, you feel like a sense of loyalty and a sense of connection to that thing. But the simple fact that the Lions were so willing to part ways with him would kind of rub me the wrong way. Just be like, what? You don't think I am good? Good enough here? I've given you my life for the last 9 years. He's been in the league, right? And then you are so willing to part ways with me. Why don't you fight for me a tad bit? Obviously we didn't see the conversation behind closed doors, but it was already coming out that the Detroit Lions were wanting to move Matthew Stafford before they, quote, mutually parted ways, right? So,
right.
I think he is just trying to say that to make himself feel better about the situation, because he's probably pissed off. It's hey, they didn't want me there.
This is the same organization that fired their coach after a playoff run. You know what I mean? I don't understand. I don't understand what the Lions are doing half the time. And this goes back a long time. I mean, they are just as dysfunctional as the Bears front office and the Bears ownership. They don't.
Well, look at all the players they've had. I mean, think about the greatness that's come out of Detroit. You have Barry Sanders, arguably the best running back of all time. You have Calvin Johnson, arguably the best receiver of all time. You have Matt Stafford, arguably a top probably 50 quarterback all time. So they've had loads of talent over time, but just all they do is they waste it. I mean, they had Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones. Do you know what a guy like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady would do with Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay. Those are two really good receivers.
AFC Championship losses.
I mentioned 3 other quarterbacks, Buck.
Oh, AFC Championship losses.
Jeez.
They don't have an offensive line. They never matched it up with a good enough running game. The defense has been suspect at best for the last, 15 years in Detroit. Detroit is not. Granted, yeah, I give it to you. He's had some wide receivers. I mean, Megatron, Galladay, Marvin Jones. They've had some quality wide receivers there. But you need other pieces to go with that. You need a run game. You need an offensive line that can actually block and not cause you to have a fractured back and broken neck and all that other crap that he had to deal with. So and that's why I thought that they would have a down year. That's why I was all over Buck when he said they were going to win the North. I said they've got a quarterback that's coming off a broken neck with an offensive line that can't protect him. So I thought it was a bad combination. I think he's going to do right. I think he's going to do very well with the Rams.
I think there's a lot of pressure on him because many people are saying the Rams are Super Bowl bound right now, and Matt Stafford has never had that expectations.
Yeah,
Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still in the NFC. Last time I checked, so I can't make the Rams a favorite in the NFC.
Can I make a
last time I checked,
right
my
now?
Green Bay Packers are in the NFC, and they're winning the Super Bowl next year.
Shut up, Wyatt.
Can I make a bold statement?
Yeah,
they got to win an NFC title game first.
If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers keep the same team that they have, they don't add anybody, and they keep everybody constructed the way it is, they're an 8-8 team next year.
No.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No.
Yes, sir.
They just started to click.
With Tom Brady at the helm.
If they would have had the end of the year connection that they had mid-season or even at the beginning of the season, they would have been clear favorites in that Super Bowl for sure.
Washington football team showed you how to beat them. Put pressure on Tom Brady. That's what they want to do. Put pressure on Tom Brady.
I just had to check my bottle of Captain Morgan to see if maybe I poured too much into it, and maybe I just misheard what you just said.
No, what you did
Super
was
Bowl
you said Buck too much. Buck
with
had
Tom
too much.
Brady are going to be an 8-8 team next year if they don't lose any pieces.
Yep.
You're betting against Tom, like right now.
If they don't add anything or lose anything, they're an 8-8 team next year. But speaking of adding pieces and
Buck is
losing
back.
pieces, the NFL draft is coming up here in April. Why? This is your bread and butter. This is why we have you on the show. But the big thing that is happening is, pretty much. But one of the big things that is not happening this year is the NFL scouting combine based in Indianapolis, Indiana. With that being said, they're quote having virtual combines at these at the players' colleges, that they play that in a pro style situation. So Wyatt, you are the big draft board guy.
Oh yeah.
What players does this hurt the worst moving forward?
I don't think it hurts anybody. Okay, because think about it. Everybody's numbers are always better at their pro day. You know why? Because they're at their university. Because Trevor Lawrence is throwing in front of Clemson people rather than NFL scouts or NFL, NFL officials who mark those times. They say Bo Jackson ran a 4.40 40 at his pro day. Of course he did because he was at Auburn. Okay, I think it helps everybody. You always get a little shorter 40 time if you're at your house. You always get, a little extra bump on the stat category if you're at your house. People always talk you up more. It's that home field advantage situation. That's exactly what's going to happen. I think if anything, guys like Trey Lance, guys like Kyle Trask, guys like Zach Wilson, I think it helps them the most. I think it gives them an opportunity to prove, like, watch me throw this football. Like, watch this. But they're much more comfortable because they're in front of them. They're in front of the people they practice with every day, rather than they slept in a hotel in Indianapolis right across from Lucas Oil Stadium in a bed they don't know, in a hotel they don't know. They had breakfast that they had never had before. It's totally different. Then you walk over to Lucas Oil and you look inside like, oh, wow, this is, Lucas Oil, if you've never been in it, is one of the most incredible NFL stadiums, in the nation. And, you walk in there and it's a little intimidating the first time you stand in the middle of that, and look around. So I think it helps. You go to the same training facility you go to all year, every year. You spend your day on your pro day in the same places you did every day at practice. So nothing changes. You're more natural.
Yeah, I've never understood the reasoning behind the combine. Like, what is the combine going to tell you that game film has not told you? So what? You're fast running a 40 with nobody in front of you, nobody playing, bump and run coverage on you. You're a quarterback who can throw while you're standing in shorts with no pads on and no rush in front of you. Like, I don't understand what the combine tells you that game tape does not tell you. So I've never understood why the combine was even really a thing, because I don't understand what it shows you that game film does not show you.
Well, it kind of puts you out of your comfort zone, and when these NFL scouts get to see these guys in person, it's completely different than what they would have seen, on tape versus at their pro day, versus even if they brought them up to the facilities and interviewed them and stuff. It's completely different because they're in that atmosphere where they're tested on certain things, so it's a whole lot different seeing a guy in person.
I don't think it. Yeah, you get to see him in person, but sure, then have an interview with him. Do what you got to do to talk to him outside of that. Like, that's what I don't understand. So, if a guy has a great combine, let me ask you this: if Justin Fields goes out there and has a great combine, and you look at let's say Trevor Lawrence goes out there and has a horrible combine, does that mean Justin Fields jumps Trevor Lawrence?
That is a horrible comparison, but the answer to that question is no.
They're the one and two.
No,
because so say Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence then.
Yes,
say Zach Wilson tears it up.
I would say Zach Wilson. I would say the comparison should be Zach Wilson and Justin Fields.
Right.
If Zach had a terrible day and Justin had a great day, they would flip. But Trevor Lawrence is the best college quarterback hype wise,
because game film tells you, right?
Andrew Luck.
What you've seen on the field and what you've seen from him over the course of time at his time in Clemson tells you that he is the number one pick.
Sure.
Because Zach
the
Wilson
combine doesn't change. 9 times out of 10, your combine will never change your first overall pick. Your combine is whenever you see guys who will be in the third round who will jump to the first. Your fourth rounders will jump to the second. Your sixth rounders will jump to the third round. That's what the combine's not for your first round guys most of the time, because you already know who they are.
About in-game ability, though, I don't care. It tells
you about athleticism.
The whole reason why, the whole thought process behind the Bears drafting Mitch Trubisky was because he interviewed with them great and he blew them away in the interview with his IQ and all of that other stuff, and he had a good combine. What did that do for them?
But where do you get the opportunity to interview those guys? It is at the combine. They do that IQ test. They do the football.
Okay, so make it an interview day. They don't have to run 40s and jump in and touch.
But you have
markers.
To. Yes, but you have to, because we had a guy on the show right here, Tristan Polk. The reason why he is not on a Division I team right now is because these recruiters did not see him in person. That is what they flat out said. Yes, we can see that you can throw the ball 75 yards in the air. Yes, we see that you're 6'4", 230 pounds, but we want to see you in person. We want to talk to you. We want to know your maturity level. And
so then why don't make the combine for guys who are fifth round or later or are projected to be undrafted as opposed
because
to
there's still toss-ups.
Third round guys.
Because there's still toss-ups in the first round. So like Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, for example. Like I said, if Zach, a lot of teams like quarterbacks who can throw the ball very well but are also fast. So say teams are looking at Trey Lance. Oh, here we go. Say teams are looking at Trey Lance, okay, and let's say Justin Fields' stock went way down, right? Okay, they're like, okay, they're virtually the same quarterback throwing the ball. They both throw the ball very similarly, but we want a guy who's a little faster and a little more athletic. So they show up to see their 40 times. They show up to see the vertical jumps and the 3-cone drills. That's what they'll show up for. That's what those moments are for. I mean, 9 times, like I said, you are correct, that it's more for the later round picks, but it does solve some mysteries for some teams like Mariota and Winston. That's a great one. Those two guys could have been 1-2, 2-1, either way across the board. Mariota had a better combine. Mariota looked better at the 40. Mariota looked better on the vertical jump. So
and
Mariota.
Where's Mariota?
He's a backup. Las Vegas.
Well, sure. Both of them ended up being bust, but it's just the way that these teams can kind of get a feel for the guys in person, as well as, kind of see, it's also a big deciding factor. How do you perform waking up early in the morning?
I don't think it
and
reflects enough of what they do on the field to really adjust. So if you're telling me that the Falcons right now are sold that Zach Wilson is going to be their guy because they've watched the game film, they really like the kid.
Nobody's sold till draft day.
So
I'm a firm believer
now
in that.
Zach Wilson is
except for the
Falcons
first overall
really
pick.
like Zach Wilson, and everybody's saying Falcons like Zach Wilson. So if Zach Wilson doesn't do a combine or has a not
Zach
so great
Wilson has to do
performance
a
in the combine, and Justin Fields does the combine and has a better combine, now all of a sudden the Falcons are like, well, we really liked Zach Wilson, but Justin Fields' combine was a lot better, so let's go with that. That's stupid to me.
So Combs, you are failing to understand that the combine is also a 3-day event. They just don't run the 40-yard dash or some cones drills. They do
passing one-on-one drills too.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are tons of drills that you do. There's weight room stuff. There's IQ stuff. Like, so,
right, I agree.
So, flashing back to what Wyatt said about 5-10 minutes ago, when you are on your home turf, numbers gets fudged a tad bit. You may be only running a 39-yard 40-yard dash instead of a 40-yard dash, right?
Exactly.
Like at the combines, everything is lasered. Everything is like on the money.
Everybody
100%.
runs the exact same.
Yeah.
So that goes back to my theory that something like this or even the combine is just it doesn't make as much sense as watching game film, watching how these guys perform under pressure, watching how these guys perform in situations. The combine doesn't tell you all of that, and that's what you need to know when you get on the field.
But the combine tells you if you are mentally ready for the NFL. Because let's be honest, Haskins had a horrible combine. 100%. He had the worst combine ever because he was not mentally ready at all. And that combine
still
showed
not
it.
mentally ready.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. So you take a guy like Mitch Trubisky who blew everybody away with his Wonderlic test, who blew them away in interviews, did well in his combine, and has been crap since. But Deshaun Watson, who didn't blow everybody away with his Wonderlic, didn't interview well with the Bears, didn't do all this.
Deshaun Watson had a decent combine.
He is.
Well,
That's what I'm saying, though.
You can look at all the game film that you want to, but these colleges, or not college, excuse me, these pro teams come there. The combine is what separates them from their film. That's the best thing I could say here.
Is the game film showed you that Deshaun Watson was going to be a better quarterback than Mitch Trubisky.
It actually didn't. It actually didn't.
Mitchell Trubisky had a great highlight.
Mitchell Trubisky played one season and was a second overall pick. Mitch Trubisky played amazing that one season at North Carolina.
Deshaun Watson went out and beat Alabama for a national championship.
But Deshaun Watson had a ton more weapons. Deshaun Watson had a ton more weapons. He played it's the difference between playing in North Carolina and Clemson.
I wish we were doing this show 5 years ago because I said the same thing on draft night, that the Mitch Trubisky pick was like Deshaun Watson was the clear pick at number 2 and not Mitch Trubisky. I would have understood if Deshaun Watson was off the board and you were wavering between Mitch Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was a sub-500 quarterback in college. Nobody knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to be what the Kansas City Chiefs got out of Patrick Mahomes. So I would have understood that pick more than I did over Deshaun Watson. But his combine got him picked over Deshaun Watson, and look where that led him.
What you really need to understand, though, is like your film is like your resume. Your film gets your foot in the door.
Yes.
Actually interviewing, actually seeing you run, seeing you throw the ball, seeing catch the ball, the combine gets you that job.
Yeah. It confirms everything that they're wondering.
That watching these guys throw during games with live defenses like Deshaun Watson versus an Alabama defense in a national title game doesn't give you everything that you need to know about Deshaun Watson and what he's going to be in the NFL?
No, it doesn't, because hold on, but if you look at Dwayne Haskins was incredible at Ohio State. He broke NCAA records. What did he do in the league? You can't just depend on game film, because you're going to have guys like Ryan Leaf. You're going to have guys like Deshaun Watson.
I felt the same way about Dwayne Haskins that I feel about Trevor Lawrence. The same exact way. I do.
But
they were great in
Haskins
college,
doesn't
but I
have
don't
hype.
think it's going to translate to the NFL.
Haskins didn't have the hype that Trevor Lawrence has the amount of hype that, say, Andrew
But
Luck
watch
had.
the game film. Watch how he performs under pressure. Watch how he performs when Ohio State whoops his ass in the playoffs.
So, Combs,
That's
also,
what I'm talking about. The game tape tells you.
you also have to realize that these guys have not played a college snap since December, right? Since then, they have hired agents, personal trainers. So like they're getting NFL training for the last 4 or 5 months before the combine actually starts. So as a quarterback, say your throwing mechanics have probably changed. They've gotten tighter. They've gotten a lot more crisp. Like your steps are like down. So that gives you a chance to showcase that at the combine. Same thing with like route running and shuttle drills and like all that stuff. Like you've had 4 months to basically train like an NFL athlete, and that's going to up your value.
Well, and like I said, it's also just those guys that are toss-ups because film can't solve everything. When you look at film, you look at two guys that are very even across the board, and you can't really decide on CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. Well, from last year, the combine, Jerry Jeudy showcased how great and how dominant. Everybody saw how good his route running was in person, or like on film, but they really saw it in person. They were like, "Oh, okay, this kid is for real." He wasn't just, battling a college cornerback. He is for real right now, playing against the best cornerbacks that are coming into the league in these one-on-one drills and stuff. So it also gives that moment to separate you from your game film and say if a guy is even with another guy, like say they watch 2 films, right? And person A and person B, their film rating, person A's film rating is a 9.5. Person B's film rating is a 9.4. They're neck and neck. They're right up on each other. Well, they come to the thing and they're like, okay, well, let's see these guys throw in person. Let's see how they react under some, because they have NFL coaches that host those drills. They don't have just any, street shab guy come in. Those are NFL quarterback coaches, NFL running back, tight end, wide receiver coaches, whatever you want to call them. That come in and host those drills. Let's see how he handles a quarterback coach giving him stuff. It shows a lot more in person
I just
rather than on film.
Because when you're in that combine and I don't care what coach is out there is no way to simulate a Myles Garrett coming through the line untouched and how he's going to react to that. But you know what does show that? When you look at the game film and you watch a middle linebacker come through the line untouched, how does he react to that? Those are the things that you're looking for that you can find in the game film that will tell you everything that you need to know. And yes, I understand the combine is an interview. It's the in-person interview. It's what gets you the job. That's fine. But I'm not going to take how he performs during his combine at all into effect because I've already watched the game film. I'm going to talk to him, and that's going to give me what I need to know about him just by the way he responds to me and how he is as a person. But guys can beat that all the time. Aaron Hernandez is the perfect example of that. Hernandez got into the NFL, but everybody said, look, this guy's going to be a head case. He needs to get as far away from his home as possible. He hangs out with the wrong crowd. And what was he?
I mean, there's always one bad gate out there. But Combs, like you are saying that the combine is strictly solely what they're basing on like everything here, and Drew is saying this the same thing. The combine only solidifies the questions that we have. So if we have a question on your route running, the combine will give us the correct answer.
How?
If we have a question. How? Because you're seeing it in person.
Drills.
But how does
but
you've already seen it in person. You've seen it on film.
Well, obviously you have a question on that.
You've scouted this guy beforehand because you know about where you're going to be picking in the draft. You're watching these guys play. You're sending your scouts out to see these guys play. So you've already seen how he reacts in game, how he reacts in shorts with some guy who might not even be like. I don't know, man. I don't understand it. But definitely a difference of opinion there, for sure.
Well, and you're definitely wrong, 100%. But we'll get past that point because you are.
Hey, I'm divorced. I'm used to being wrong.
All right, guys, we're going to take our last little break, and we are going to reward the loyalty winner of the week. So if you still have 2 minutes to get some loyalty points to try to catch Tori, but we'll see if he has won. So we'll be right back here on the guys on the Mad Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. The last couple minutes here before we wrap up this week's show, let me go ahead and bring on what the point value guys are here. So if you guys are having a little bit of trouble seeing that, or you can listen to us on podcast form, Tori Anderson definitely ran away with it with like 2.2 quadrillion. That's KT points this week, which with just a little over 4 hours of watch time. So, guys, there was no doubt in my mind that Tori was going to win after that first night when he was gambling pretty much nonstop, 100%. But we will continue to do this, guys. Do this each and every week. So I will reset the points each Monday, so you'll have a different time to win.
And what does the winner get, Buck?
You were supposed to give them a little bit of memorabilia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
So what are they going to get?
I don't know yet. I'll announce that on Monday's show.
All right. So
here, hold on. I don't even know what's in this box. I've got so much memorabilia here. Let's see what's in this box right here.
What are you getting? What's in box number 1?
I hope you're a Canadiens fan. An autographed photo of Jacques Lapierre.
there we go. So that is going to be one of the best prizes that you are going to ever get from the Man Hour, because it's coming from Brandon Combs. So Tori, hit up Brandon on Facebook or Twitter to get the address, and we'll get the whole prize situation figured out here. So, guys, we've had a pretty good show so far. We've had a pretty good week, I should say. We've had a lot of NFL talk. We had sprinkled some Major League Baseball talk in there as well. We'll start sprinkling a whole lot more in there as baseball comes north.
Am I giving a piece of my memorabilia away every week?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sure not.
You scared me for a second. I was like,
I guess if you want to, I mean, you do have a whole basement for. But Wyatt, you got the floor for the last couple minutes, man. You said you wanted to say something. Let the people hear it.
So on our break, I went and I looked up, what are the main purposes, because I kind of wanted to find out a little more about the combine as well. So I look it up, and Combs, I will say the NFL did say that we're right. Okay, it's just to answering the questions for these teams that didn't get the questions answered. So any rebuttal on the end? You want to shout out the NFL? Anything? No, you don't want to.
Because you're wrong,
you're wrong
because you're not muting me.
That is only.
It's a new idea now. That wasn't the original idea. Seriously, did you have any idea?
Yeah, the NFL sucks.
And that is it for the Man Hour, guys. As always, join us every Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. East Coast time on YouTube.com/Man Hour, guys. We'll be back next week.